All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the first episode of Optimus Weekly. I'm actually really excited to finally be debuting this podcast. I actually really kind of planned on dropping this for the first time back in like spring of 2022, but I just had so many other projects that I was wrapped up in. I was focusing on so many different things, and I found it really hard to actually find the time really to kind of, sit down and really give this project, I feel like, the time and the effort that it actually deserves. I've really wanted to do a podcast style or long form content style kind of piece of content for a while, but there's been so many different like hiccups, I guess, down the road. So a few things to note: this podcast, I guess, is a little bit different because for the first few episodes, I'm just going to kind of be talking about random topics that I've already pre-selected. I don't have any guests initially lined up. I am eventually going to start reaching out to fellow creators and people that I'd like to have conversations with and whatnot. You guys can suggest people as well, and I'll sit down and I'll have conversations with people, talk about all kinds of different things. But for the first few episodes, I kind of want to establish my flow because it's going to take a little bit of time, I really feel like, to kind of get used to this whole idea. I mean, I've done podcasts before, but I don't know. It's not really the same as it was then. I feel like I want to do it a little bit differently this time. That way it actually keeps my interest and I feel like I'm doing something different. So this is also different because I'm uploading these as like videos with the YouTube podcast feature initially. I do plan on eventually expanding this to other platforms, so you'll be able to listen to Optimus Weekly on pretty much any platform, hopefully. I need to still work on that a little bit, but as of right now, I want to get it out on YouTube, kind of get my flow going and everything, figure out what I really want to do with this, and then of course that's when I can start really kind of expanding it and whatnot. So also I am doing like the audio jump cuts and whatnot. It's not like traditional podcasts. I feel like there's really a lot of conversation going on a lot of the time, and I don't want to just throw words out. So I want to give myself time to like actually think about what I'm saying and like actually establish my pace a little bit. And also I'm going to experiment a little bit with the video segment of what I'm going to do with the podcast. Eventually I might just switch it to like an animation, but right now I kind of want to test like gameplay and stuff like that and see how that kind of does. I really just want this to be more or less like a natural extension to a typical video that I'd make. I don't want this to be like some sort of standalone generic studio, fucking atmosphere, right? I just want this to be something more personal to me. I want this to be a long form style of content I can enjoy making. And if it doesn't work out that way, I'll make changes as I kind of really need to see fit. But right now I just want to try this. So the first topic that I've kind of picked for all of this, I kind of want to more or less kind of do a natural extension to a community that really actually helped launch my YouTube career in a pretty major way, and also kind of talk about a game franchise that not only have I talked about and made a lot of content for here on my channel, but also one of the most popular games pretty much of all time. Like, if you really think about it, every single year Call of Duty is like the top selling game, right? I mean, the game makes so much money that Activision is just an absolute behemoth. Like, Call of Duty is a complete cash cow. We all know this, right? But I think the downfall, as many people have kind of called it, myself included, of Call of Duty over the last like decade or so has kind of accelerated some pretty shitty trends in gaming in general. And I think that even if you kind of escape Call of Duty, I feel like, as a lot of people have done in the last few years, as in you stop really playing the game or like buying it and focusing on it and shit like that, right? That, even when you escape that, you still don't escape some of the ramifications that Call of Duty has helped kind of bring to the gaming atmosphere for other games. Like, Call of Duty did broadly help push microtransactions and help further destroy gaming in so many different ways. And it's kind of unfortunate, but I don't want to sit here and make it out like Call of Duty has just completely killed gaming or something, because that's not really true. But I mean, it would just be completely naive and not true to pretend that many of the successful ventures in the monetization of Call of Duty have also been widely spread throughout the rest of the gaming industry. And it's not all solely due to Call of Duty, but I mean, when you think about like the loot crates and supply drops, like, yeah, sure, a lot of games have accelerated this, but like when you think of it, you really think like Overwatch, Call of Duty, games like that, right? Now, I think most people wouldn't disagree with that, but I mean, there's so many people who still loyally defend Call of Duty, knowing damn good and well that this game is just not good anymore. Like, it's just so shitty the direction that Call of Duty has gone. Like, it's at the point that they have all but completely announced the most recent game that'll be coming in like a few months, which is just literally Modern Warfare 3, aka the game that Sledgehammer made, where they actually change everything that Infinity Ward did in Modern Warfare 2, because all of the decisions that Infinity Ward makes for their games are unpopular and they're not good, and it fucks up the game completely, and people don't like it, and it fucking completely destroys the player retention in the game. Like, genuinely tell me the last time that most of you loaded up Modern Warfare 2 2023. Like, it's at the point, dude, where the most recent, like, Microsoft/Activision update to the, like, old Call of Duty servers created this renaissance where on the Microsoft store, like, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, Modern Warfare 2, and Modern Warfare 3 were, like, 4 of the top 5 selling games digitally. And apparently, it's getting to the point now where people are buying so many Xbox 360s and like the old Xboxes that are backwards compatible, like the ones and whatnot. There's so many people going to stores trying to buy them that some stores are completely running out of stock and just like are fucked. The old Call of Duty games getting their servers basically updated so matchmaking is possible and you can play these games has made it to where people have decided, fuck Modern Warfare 2, I'm gonna go play Modern Warfare 2. And they're going back to play the good one, you know, the one that had all the features that everybody liked, that has all the maps that everybody likes, all the weapons, all the perks, you know, the multiplayer system, prestiges, like all of these cool things that like COD has eventually ran into the dirt one by one in the last 5 to 10 years. These were all things that were prevalent in these past titles, and that's why people, including myself, have decided to go back and start playing these games instead. And it's kind of sad because, like, Call of Duty is a franchise that, if we're being serious, could really make a crazy step forward and actually be innovative and good again, right? Like, when this game back in the 2000s was competing with good shooters like Halo 3, Jesus Christ, you know, like, that game is very hard to beat. For some people, you could say, like, Halo 3 is better than the original COD. There's a lot of people who liked that big run that Halo had more than COD. And you know what? I don't even blame them because those games are all great too. But like when you have games like that as competition, right? Like you constantly have to be doing something right that like, you know, makes people want to fucking play your game. And you know, this was back when COD once again had the features everyone liked and like you could do things that were fun. It feels more and more every year like Call of Duty is becoming like a digital store. Like it's not even really an actual game anymore as much as it is just a product, right? And I know for a long time, right, Activision has not been treating this game like some sort of fucking high art, right? They haven't been putting any sort of time, effort, patience, anything into that shit. And I mean, to be fair, like, let's look at their competition, right? Halo dropped, I can't even remember the fucking name of the game, right? And I mean, yeah, okay, whoa, oh, Call of Duty shivering in their boots over that game, right? Absolutely not. And then many people have said that Battlefield 2042 has had like this complete renaissance that makes it just really great. I don't know, I disagree. It's definitely better than it was, but I still don't think it's good, and I don't think that even for Battlefield standards, it's even really all that great either, if we're being honest. I mean, they gotta just say GG, go next, in my opinion. However, you know, if you enjoy the game, I can't hate. If you like it, that's cool, but I don't, so... I mean, Call of Duty has no competition anymore. Like, who do they really have to be scared of? Who's really pressing innovation against them, right? You know, they don't have any competition in that genre. The competition that they're facing is like when Grand Theft Auto 6 drops, you know what I mean? Or like something like that. They're not worried about fucking Battlefield and Halo anymore. That's sad to say because, like, once again, these are two highly respected franchises and they've produced some very good games. But I mean, like, let's be real. They're not something that's doing anything to COD anymore. Until they like actually get back to the fucking grindstone or whatever and they figure it out, I don't know. They're just gonna be fucking second and third fiddle to Call of Duty, constantly selling #1 every year. Even though the games get worse, right? Like the games are not good. Like let's be real, let's take a look at the last couple COD games. Black Ops Cold War. Honestly, probably the best of the Call of Duties that I'm about to name off to you. I mean, it had its faults, it had a lot of problems, but ultimately, given that Treyarch also had to work on that game around the throes of the COVID pandemic, which had isolated everybody to work at home pretty much, especially in studio environments like this. And I believe that game was actually thrown into their lap as like a salvage project, and they had to do that in a short period of time with a global pandemic shutting everything down. And even then, like, it's probably the best Call of Duty experience that's come out in the last several years. And then, I mean, you look after that, right? You got Call of Duty Vanguard. Wow, what a good game. Sledgehammer really has trouble with their actual main title games pretty much every time that they drop. Now, World War II got good towards like the middle of the game and later in the game. And I mean, even like when you think about even fucking what, Advanced Warfare, that game was okay. I didn't completely hate that game. I know a lot of people couldn't stand it. I didn't hate that game, but it wasn't the best. Black Ops 3 is clearly the superior jetpack game. I mean, I don't really think anyone would disagree with that for the most part, but I mean, like, let's just be real, man. Like, and do I need to honestly get into fucking Modern Warfare 2? Do I really need to discuss that with you? Like, this game is just, I don't know, like, Steam claims the last time I played Modern Warfare 2 was February 4th, and I'm pretty sure the last time I loaded the game, I just instantly closed it once the menus came up because I was just like, nah, fuck it, I don't want to play this. So I couldn't even tell you really the last time that I sat down and played some Modern Warfare 2. I mean, when it came out, I put some decent time into it, right? Trying to find things about it that I enjoyed and whatnot. And honestly, man, there just isn't enough there for me. Like, it just, I don't know. I don't really like Infinity Ward's new gen Call of Duty games. I hate the decisions that they make. I don't like that they protect fucking noobs and campers all the time. And I know that sounds cliche to talk about in the COD community. Oh, somebody's bitching about campers, you know, somebody's bitching about new players getting favored, you know, but like at the end of the day, it's true. Like, who the fuck wants to sit around and play games that are designed for people to sit in a fucking corner with a shotgun aiming at a doorway, just fucking praying that you walk down that hall? Like, that's just so fucking cringe. And then like these games do nothing really to like punish that playstyle. They even encourage it a lot of the time. And I don't know, man, I'm just good on that, bro. Like I said, especially when you can go back right now and play peak BO2, BO1, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3. When you can play all of these games, like, very reasonably, and, like, truth be told, get matches faster in that game than people can probably get in Modern Warfare 2, simply because in Modern Warfare 2, like, the skill-based matchmaking and all that shit, like, it limits, if you're decent at the game, like, which lobbies you can really get into. So, like, it gets to a certain point, man, where, like, you're just fighting against a fucking algorithm that doesn't want you to have fun playing the game, right? So you just have, like, 1% of matches you can join. It's always the people playing, like, they're going to Call of Duty League championships or whatever, right? Like, even though these are people who probably can't even fucking tie their own shoes correctly, right? But they're fucking playing, I don't know, like they're like top 5 in the world or something, right? But like, it takes so long to find matches because of shit like that. It really fucks up the matchmaking. And then like in these old games, like, yeah, they had skill-based or whatever, but it definitely wasn't as prevalent as it is in these new CODs. And it wasn't fucking up matchmaking like it was in these new CODs for people. And that's what I feel like has become a general trend in gaming, is like, even though these games make more and more money, they even like up the price, right? Like, games used to be fucking $60, bro. Like, that was the standard for like my whole life that I can remember. Then all of a sudden one day they're like, fuck it, we want 70, right? And everyone's like, you know what? All right, I guess we gotta throw the extra 10 in because I gotta play the new Spider-Man on fucking PS5, right? No way, I'm missing that new Warzone update is what half these people are out here saying, right? So, like, people aren't just gonna stop fucking playing video games over $10. So, you know, they get that money out of you too. They fucking milk you dry there too, right? And this is off topic, but another thing that pisses me off about modern gaming. Why do digital games cost the same amount as a physical game? Like, that is such a fucking stupid idea, and I don't know why people have not just been, like, more vocal about this, because it's realistically a fucking ripoff, and, like, we all know it's a ripoff. There's no way that it's not a ripoff. I mean, how are you telling me that a digital product costs the same amount of money for you to manufacture as a physical one, that you have to ship to thousands of stores around the world? You know, you have to fucking distribute it on 6 continents or whatever, right? Fuck it, there's probably a dude in Antarctica playing Call of Duty. He might be on every continent, right? But you're telling me that it costs the exact same for that as it costs for you to upload a fucking PDF or whatever to like a Sony server? Get real. And so that's just the type of shit, right? They just keep increasing the prices of these games. They're throwing all these fucking microtransactions at you, right? It's like a roller coaster you can't get off, bro. Like, you pay the price of admission, it's already fucking ridiculous, right? But you've been sitting in line, you've been waiting for this game for 8 months because the last one sucked and you want to play Call of Duty and you hope this one's good, but hey, you just spent 70 fucking bucks and it wasn't good, right? So you get on the ride and then like halfway through, you just get your face pissed in. It's pretty dope, actually. Like, Activision just pisses in your face, right? You know, you ride another, I don't know, 20 seconds through the ride, piss-soaked, stinking, you know, fucking molty, right? And then, you know, all of a sudden Activision says, fuck it, let's double up, right? Let's double Dutch right here, okay? They fucking just shit on you, right? Like, they just walk over a bridge while you're coming through on the train, just fucking ba-boom, just dumped on your head. Guess what? Fuck you. We know our game sucks. We know that the game doesn't work, that it doesn't function, that these projects are just fucking, you know, they cost more and more every year, but you get less and less in them, right? So, like, you just end up getting fucking pissed and shit on the whole process, bro. It's pretty, it's actually pretty cool. I love spending $70 a year for that experience, man. So, like I said, Modern Warfare 3, like, we already know that it's coming in a few months, and, like, dude, I really couldn't give a fuck less. Like, let's be real, I just couldn't care less, man. Like, I have not felt so not ready for a Call of Duty game since I was like 5 years old, dude. Like, and I know I said that probably like last year, but dude, the problem is every year they do the same fucking thing, and I feel like it tricks everybody in the community, and like, I'm one of those people, man, and I'm trying to break that fucking curse, bro, but like, they do it every year, right? Like, the trailer comes out, you know? There's some fucking song from the 80s playing in the background, right? And then they bring out like the fan favorite characters, right? Like, they'll fucking have Soap and Price come out. It'd be like, Bravo 6, I was on the shit, sorry about that, let's get this fucking chopper going. And then, you know, he fucking smokes a cigar, throws it off the side of the copter. Then it just transitions to a fucking like montage of 80 people just shooting every cool gun in the world at each other to fucking rock music. And then, like, you know, the rumor mill starts churning and they just start telling you, oh, hey, they're bringing back this fan favorite feature. Fucking, hey, the mini-map that everybody liked that was in the game 15 years ago that they took out for no reason. Yeah, that one, that's coming back this time. You can use that again. They really innovated this time. They really brought the fucking big guns on this one, man. And then fucking for what, dude? Like, and let's be real, like, when was the last time they created something cool, too? Like, the campaigns are okay. Like, they do okay on the campaign part for the most part. But, like, multiplayer and shit has just been meh for however long. And it's like, that's the main draw to Call of Duty. How the fuck is that meh? Like, how are we throwing out something that doesn't cook? And then it's like, oh, well, probably because it sells so much that this company was literally getting away with employees, like, getting drunk and sexually assaulting their coworkers and shit in their fucking, like, dorms and shit. So, like, this is the same company, I'm pretty sure, where, like, people were having fucking, like, keg parties with big pictures of, like, Bill Cosby or something. Like, just worshiping weirdos and shit. So, like, I mean, at the end of the day, man, like, can I really be too surprised that this is the fucking same company that's also ripping everybody off every year with broken products? And speaking of that, right, I saw a video on Twitter the other day that really highlighted for me what exactly pisses me off about modern COD, right? Because, like, you know, this game makes billions of dollars a year. Like, it's not even close. I mean, you can, like, the sales alone, they hit like $1 billion in revenue after like 48 hours of the game being out. Like, the game sells so much when it first fucking comes out that, like, they pretty much already they rake $1 billion in. You know, they're guaranteeing themselves $1 billion plus. But somehow, one of the biggest gaming and entertainment conglomerates on the fucking planet has just no idea, no possible way to figure out how to make a, like, anti-cheat that actually works, right? Like, because to spin back around where I was, there was a video on Twitter the other day of Modern Warfare 2 where people were just, like, kind of playing just casually, I think. Like, they were playing Hardpoint on some map that I didn't really recognize. And they got mysteriously shot and killed, right? So you're thinking, oh, maybe it was somebody hiding on, like, a weird vantage point, or they're, like, head glitching somewhere and they didn't see him. Nah, it wasn't nothing like that. You know where they were? They were 90 feet in the fucking air over the center of the map, auto-aiming people on the ground from the air because they had some sort of cheat/hack that, like, allowed them to just fucking teleport to the fucking moon and just shoot down on people, right? So, like, this is a game that's, what, 10 months old? 9 months old, maybe even? Like, it's the newest Call of Duty game to come out. It's made over $1 billion very easily. I don't even know the total revenue. I haven't even looked up the total revenue. It's probably higher than that at this point. It may be like in the billions with an S. But somehow they can't prevent some fucking 16-year-old with 6 lines of code that he bought off the fucking internet somewhere for $20. They can't prevent him from fucking completely destroying the $70 AAA quality gameplay in the game, right? Like, I just don't get it, bro. I don't understand how a game can have even, like, this game had a $250 million budget, $250 million. Like, the budgets get higher, the stakes are supposedly getting higher. They claim every time that they release these games, like, oh, this is a technological innovation to the franchise. We really fucking, tuned it up this time. We laid out the napalm. We brought out the big guns. We fucking brought in the fucking experts on this one, man. You know what, actually? We might be the greatest developers of all time, because the way that we just fucking cooked up in this kitchen, you would think we're Chef Ramsay, right? Like, they just fucking act like they just, created the holy grail of first-person shooters, and then it comes out and it's like, oh wow, the UI that looks like Windows 8 that nobody liked, that's pretty cool. Oh, awesome, there's $400 worth of microtransactions in the game, and I can't connect to a match. Oh, cool, I just connected to a match, and a 14-year-old who is floating on clouds shot me in the head with a sniper every time I spawn. Like, this is the type of shit people complained about, like, Black Ops 2 having as a problem in, like, 2015. Like, 3 years after the game came out, Fucking, all these old CODs, right? Like, they eventually got hacked. Like, that's not to say that there's never been hacking or anything like that, but it always came at the end of a game's life cycle, Like, it always came after the new Call of Duty was already out, and this was a game that was really not getting supported anymore because they were just working on the new shit. So, like, it got to be expected, but, like, dude, this is the newest COD that still costs $70 fucking dollars that, like, your investors are still dependent on for, like, the success of their stock, and the success of your company is literally fucking tethered to the success of this franchise. You know what I mean? Like, don't you think you can show it the TLC and, like, the time of day to make sure that it's at least playable, right? Like, these are studios, like, that have thousands of developers. Like, I'm pretty sure Infinity Ward has, like, 3,000 total employees, you know what I mean? Like, and realistically, it's not even then, because even then they get support from the other studios. Like, I'm pretty sure in Modern Warfare 2, the, like, ranked play or the competitive playlist is actually maintained by Treyarch. And then I'm pretty sure, like, Raven or, like, Beanox or somebody works on Warzone alongside, I think, Infinity Ward. So, like, it's not like these are just some small companies that are understaffed, under-budgeted, right? They just don't have the tools necessary. This is a company that's had the tools necessary for over a decade at this point and just chooses not to. And, we sit around and wonder, like, COD fans in particular, we're like, man, why does this fucking franchise never get any better? Well, let me go ahead and talk about that, right? Because I feel like, I don't know if this would be controversial or not, but I think that this really kind of helps prove why Call of Duty always is just going to continue doing the shit that they're doing now, producing just subpar, just shit quality games. Why they have no real incentive to step any of their games up and actually produce what they should be producing. And it really comes down to the fact that people still buy it. And I'm not the first person to say that, right? It's nothing controversial. It's not like that's something that nobody said before. I'm not the first person. I'm not going to say I was. However, you see so many COD fans that are like, man, why the fuck don't they actually change the game, bro? Why aren't they actually working on fixing this and making this and doing that, right? And, like, a lot of the time, the changes that they want made may even be the, like, right choice in the eyes of most of the community. But it's like, dude, at the same time, you're the one buying $400 worth of fucking cosmetic packs to turn your gun into a radioactive waste barrel or to become fucking Nicki Minaj in game and talk like Nicki Minaj. Or to have fucking, I don't know, a minion AK-47. I don't know, like, just cosmetics and, cool calling cards and shit like that, right? And I'm not going to sit here and pretend I've never bought a COD bundle, right? Like I said, a lot of these things that the Call of Duty community falls back into, I've done the same fucking thing 100 times. But I'm also, one, actively trying to just say, fuck it, I don't care anymore about buying these games. And like Modern Warfare 3, I have no purpose in buying it right now because I don't play COD. Like, if I'm going to play COD, man, I'm just going to fucking load up my Xbox and play BO2. Or I'll play even, like, Plutonium. I'd rather play Plutonium than the new Call of Duty 2, right? So, like, I just have no purpose with with the new COD games. Like, they're not fun. I stopped playing them after 6 weeks anyway. Like, why even waste those 6 weeks playing it when I can just enjoy a different fucking game? And that's, once again, something that we all say every single time, right? Why do I keep buying this game? Well, fuck it, I'm not buying it this year. And then once again, they drop the cool fucking trailer with all the cool characters, and, the multiplayer gameplay looks completely different than how it releases. The next thing you know, well, yeah, you're back in the same cycle, right? You're just buying the game again. So, but here's the thing too, is like, yeah, like I said, people be like, oh, why doesn't COD change? They got all the fucking cool cosmetics or whatever, right, that everybody thinks are fire that they see on TikTok or whatever. And like, I'm not saying you can't buy shit like that, but you can't be a person who spends $800 a year on the Call of Duty franchise and you're like, man, I wonder why they're not changing anything, right? Like I said, they have no incentive to. They have no competition in their genre. Like I said, their only competition are the other blockbuster studios, and like most of them, like I said, like a Rockstar game, something like that, they don't release often enough to really threaten Call of Duty on an annual basis. So even if Rockstar drops a new fucking masterpiece every 4 or 5 years, right, Call of Duty still gets that in between time, them 2 or 3, maybe even 4 years, right, where they can just be number one. And even then, when those Rockstar games drop, or like that new Transcendent game comes along that just blows every chart apart, Call of Duty is still usually like the number 2. You know what I mean? Like, they're not fucking completely done for or anything like that, right? So, like, ultimately, man, it's getting to that point where you can't expect change in Call of Duty because the sales figures simply don't account for change. And another reason that they're never going to account for change is because investors don't like change. And I mean, Activision's a publicly traded company, right? Like, I've owned Activision stock before and sold Activision stock, pretty much anyone can do it, right? Like, it's a publicly traded company. They're basically subject to what their investors say to do. Like, that's how any public company is. Like, if the investors don't like the direction you're taking something, the fucking board of directors can just get rid of you, or you can lose your role in the board of directors. Like, there's so many ways that if you piss off investors, they can just fuck up everything, right? They can just say, this isn't what we want to do, because they're the owners, essentially, of the company, right? Like, they're the ones who own the shares of the company. So, like, it ultimately is their financial benefit to keep Call of Duty the same. To them, like, going back or like changing Call of Duty in a really radical and massive way, like that fans want, that actually brings features that people fuck with, that actually makes the games playable, like, to investors, that's actually dangerous. That's scary. They're stepping out of their comfort zone. They're changing up the formula that already financially works. They're not willing to throw that kind of risk out because to them, the objective really isn't to make the best game possible. You mean like these 85-year-old fucking rich guys that are pulling the strings on these companies? Like, they don't play video games, bro. They don't give a fuck about Call of Duty. They don't care if you grew up playing the franchise. They don't give a fuck about that, dude. They care that when those Q3 earnings come in, that revenue's gonna be up, that sales forecasts in the future are gonna be up, and that the company is doing really well in stability on the inside. As long as those key objectives continue to be met in the way that Call of Duty is helping propel do that now, it's never going to change. And I mean, every year microtransactions become even more prevalent, right? Like, not even just in Call of Duty. Like I said, these kinds of things are things that have bled into the entire gaming industry. There's really no game that I can think of, for the most part, that's really safe from this kind of shit. I mean, every game now has a battle pass. Every game now has an item shop. Every game now has bundles. Every game now has some sort of like cosmetic DLC. There's really just no way to escape them. And then if you don't have that shit, games have in-game purchasable currency that can be used to purchase shit. So like, you're not really escaping microtransactions in many games these days. There's just not really a way to. And they're not inherently always a horrible thing. I mean, like, there's a lot of indie developers who have used microtransactions to help fund future projects and help them, achieve financial stability and actually be able to create their passions and their dreams from that extra income that fans provide. But also, indie developers and people who have actually profited off of microtransactions in a really good way, they're oftentimes not held to the same fucking fire that Activision's held to. Activision, they can be fucking held to the flame for 30 hours, right? And nothing happens because ultimately they're a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate with thousands of employees. They're global, they're publicly traded, they're making money, and the stock like holders and whatnot, they're fine with the way the company's doing shit. So, fucking 5% of fans can be pissed like, oh, the game sucks or whatever. Like, we can not like it, but as long as the casuals continue to play it and they continue to enjoy the direction it's going, well, fuck us. And like, I feel like most COD fans and gaming fans who've suffered similar fates in other franchises have known this kind of thing for a long time, but I think it's a denial that a lot of people continue to hold. Like, the truth of the matter is, in Call of Duty, is 90% of the people playing are just, they're not the super hardcore fans that have been playing for 15 years. They're the 37-year-old construction worker dad, right, who fucking gets 45 minutes a day to play video games, and he wants to play a couple matches of Warzone on his 2 megabyte fucking satellite internet, right? Like, he doesn't care about, fucking playing COD all day and having fun on it, right? He just wants something to distract him from the fact that he wants to fucking kill himself. Like, let's just call it for what it is. Like, he hates his fucking life, right? And so when he comes home, he's fucking being racist to kids on Warzone on the microphone. And like, you know what? It's a tried and true tradition that's fucking happened for the better part of 20 years. Like, when I was 11 years old playing fucking Call of Duty, dude, I was getting called the hard R by people on Call of Duty 2. And I'm white, so I don't even understand like why I was the target of this and being told that they were gonna kill my family and shit like that, right? But like, that's the dude who's fucking playing, dude. It's not all like these super hardcore fans that, want these changes made. It's fucking little 4th grade Timmy with his LMG, sitting in a fucking corner aiming at a door, fucking scrolling through TikTok with his fucking genetically mutated hand from the tap water. And meanwhile, he's fucking frying you off head glitches because his fucking, I don't know, adrenal glands are better than yours? I have no idea. His fucking muscles twitch crazier. Maybe he's just better. I don't know. Like, it just, who fucking knows at this point, dude? But like, those are the people playing the game, bro. So that's ultimately where the attention's gonna go. And for them, like, they don't give a fuck about going back to Black Ops 2. He's 9 years old, dude, He was born fucking 4 days after the 10th anniversary of 9/11. Like, this is somebody who doesn't know what that game is, right? So why does he give a fuck? And then like the 40-year-old dad, like I said, he doesn't care. He just is trying to turn the TV on and drown his thoughts out while he gets drunk. And you know what? America runs on it, dude. America runs on that type of shit. So like, you know what, dude? Whatever. But I don't know. Like, you see that type of shit and you can't sit back and be like, well, I wonder why COD's in the state it's in. Like, I saw something the other day that said on Steam, on the like hottest sellers, the best sellers list for products that are selling the most on Steam, that the new season Call of Duty Black Cell Battle Pass or whatever, right, was the fucking 5th highest selling product regardless. Like, and keep in mind, this wasn't the game. This wasn't Modern Warfare 2, the AAA video game title. This was the Battle Pass to it, right? So the Battle Pass to Modern Warfare 2 was a top 5 seller on Steam against all the other studios' video games and all their DLCs and everything. So that, like, I mean, you can't sit around and be like, damn, I wonder why we're fucking sitting here, wondering why COD's getting worse, right? That's why, right there. And honestly, that's why I just have decided to not care, about the new COD. Like, I don't give a fuck if it gets revealed. I don't care. I haven't really followed any leaks. Like, I saw one thing that said apparently they're once again reverting like all the changes that Infinity Ward made to the series pretty much. And that the game was probably just gonna be like an updated version of Modern Warfare 2. Like basically year 2 of Modern Warfare 2, but with a twist and just called Modern Warfare 3. Because fuck coming up with new Call of Duty ideas. Fuck coming up with new titles, with new franchises, inside this big universe you've made. Why do anything like that when you can just release the same thing? I mean, fuck it. Like, even all the maps and weapons will probably just be remasters of all the cool shit from the original Modern Warfare games. Because, instead of just releasing a remastered version of all of the games that people have just made the top 5 selling games on Microsoft, instead of just making remastered, better versions of those games with better graphics and like better matchmaking and no hackers, and maybe even like expanded content even too, like, instead of doing shit like that. Fuck that, dude. Why don't we just make a even like 10 times worse version of that game? Spend 70 times what it would cost to just do the cool idea everybody wants. Make none of the players except for the casuals happy in the process and say, fuck the franchise. Well, I mean, let's do that, right? So it's crazy kind of how these kinds of shit fests in COD have kind of went out into other gaming franchises. Like, I feel like damn near every franchise is just exhausting itself trying to do what Call of Duty did for so long. Like, COD did the whole annual release thing, right? And that made them a shit ton of money because every year the game was just selling more and more copies, you know, and they're releasing every year. So fuck it, this is an exponential flow of money. That's cool, but dude, eventually that shit's not as cool when, you know, you're not making anything new anymore. You're not doing anything to make it any different. And they know this, but of course, like I said, why care? So now you've noticed a lot of other franchises are falling into similar fates where microtransactions and DLC have been prioritized above quality gameplay, finished mechanics, and actual products that satisfy the audience. Now, don't get me wrong, there have been a lot of really great game releases in the last few years. There have been even some great game releases in the last year and a half or year. Baldur's Gate 3 is actually a game I'm pretty excited to try. I haven't, really tried anything like that before, but fuck it. I think I might try it. It looks pretty cool, right? So it's not like there's not games out there to keep your attention. You definitely have to look. You definitely have to, test the waters a little bit. But ultimately, there are cool things out there to enjoy. Like, as a gaming fan, I see a lot of people saying things like, oh, bro, gaming is dead. Gaming is over. And I just don't agree with that. I think it really comes down to perspective. And let's be real, the last few years, we're at a point in time where, games have been pretty stale. Like, a lot of games that have come out recently would not be considered, I think, all-time games. I mean, yeah, there's the exceptions like Elden Ring that I think will definitely be able to stand the test of time and actually, hang on to the legacy that they've paved for themselves. But at the same time, right, a lot of the major games that have released in recent memory have also just fucking sucked. Or they've released broken and not working. And that's another thing about Call of Duty in the last few years that I just don't understand. And well, I do understand at the same time. Because once again, I share the frustrations that all the fans do. Like, why the fuck are we paying $70? We're putting all our faith into the studio that we think is going to deliver a fucking awesome product for us, right? And then all of a sudden, you get the game, it's missing half the features, it won't have working leaderboards, or no fucking theater mode, or custom games won't work for 3 months, or ranked play won't come until 4 months before the next Call of Duty comes out. Like, there's always something. But of course, those microtransactions, they don't stop, dude. After 3 or 4 days of the game being out, they will have the fucking store ready to go. They will be packing it full of cosmetics. By the way, cosmetics that repeatedly Activision has been exposed for stealing from smaller artists without commissioning them, ripping off other people's ideas and then selling them for profit, just doing scummy, fucked up shit that realistically is super illegal, but because they're a massive corporation, they probably would suffer no repercussions from. I mean, I'm just going to assume that most indie artists or whatever can't really afford to battle the legal division of Activision Blizzard North America. Once again, the same company that was fucking ducking punches like fucking Muhammad Ali when it came to allegations of sexual assault and disgusting, horrific shit happening within their company culture. They were fucking ducking allegations left and right, dude. They were fucking cha-cha sliding around those questions, right? But hey, you know what? Hey, don't worry about that. That small indie artist that might sue us for 20 grand for stealing, let's bury this motherfucker legally. It's kind of fucked up if you think about it, how much protection this company has for being so goddamn slimy. It's not even about the games being bad, it's just this company fucking sucks. Honest to God, if Call of Duty just transferred to damn near any other studio's possession, and Activision Blizzard was wiped off the face of the earth, and their fucking headquarters was bulldozered down, and all of the executives were jailed for the crazy shit that they allowed, I wouldn't bat an eye. I'd be like, oh fuck, that's kind of shitty. You know what? I might re-download Modern Warfare 2. Maybe there'll be a cool update in a couple days that makes it fun. Like, this company just fucking sucks. That's what a lot of this comes down to. I really hate Activision, and I really hate Blizzard. I hope they go out of business. I really do. I mean that. I hope they go out of business and their employees are forced to find other employment. Because nobody should have to suffer the fate of working at Activision Blizzard. Like, having that on your resume, having that attached to your fucking name, should be considered a war crime. Like, anyone who is forced to write on their fucking, like, resume, I worked at Activision Blizzard during any time in the last, like, 15 years, they should be awarded, like, $25,000 per person in punitive damages. And they should be allowed to legally scrub that from their past. Like, and just fucking never speak of it again. Just a horrific buried family secret. That company fucking sucks. Like, if it was legal to piss on the sign out front, I'm not going to say that. That might get me in trouble. I shouldn't say that. If it was legal to piss in an occupiable restroom anywhere near the campus, that's what I would choose to do. I don't know, man. And then the games just, once again, release fucking broken, destroyed, just shitty. You know what I mean? Like, they don't work. They don't really do anything. Like, if we're being honest, they're just software. Once again, they just feel like products. Like, and I get that they are literally products, but like, where the fuck is the ingenuity that made Call of Duty good in the first place? And then, like, it's just soulless now. Like, half of the game is just dedicated in the menus to just selling you different shit. Like, fuck it. Hey, dude, you want to grab the battle pass? Huh? You want to buy the fucking battle pass? You want to spend money on that? You want to get shitty cosmetics that we probably stole from some guy eating ramen for dinner every day? And then you're like, nah, I think I'm good on that one, bro. That skin is not that great. And then, like, they're just saying, fuck it. Hey, you want to buy some Call of Duty points, bro? You go ahead and buy some COD points, man. Go ahead and buy some of those. We'll throw you a discount on these. And then you can buy bundles and you could buy cool shit like that. And you're just like, nah, I think I'm all right on that, dude. And then, like, they just fucking shove it down your throat at every chance. Like, every time you open the fucking game, everything, man. Like, they're just trying to push a sale. It's like a digital Walmart. Like, you go onto the software and it's just, like, designed not to direct you to playing the game. It's like directed to somehow navigate you to the store and purchasing shit. And it's like, dude, you already pay $70 fucking for this game. Why are you being hounded? As if this is a company where everyone is starving in the streets. Like, these executives make tens of millions of dollars a year, bro. They're not hurting for money. I mean, sure, the fucking software engineers that work 90 hours a week during crunch time and make probably 25 grand less than what they should. Yeah, it fucking sucks for them because, like, they're the ones getting taken advantage of. But, like, that's what this company's been up to, bro. It's fully fuck Activision. Like, they know that these games release like shit. They know they're releasing without features. But once again, people buy it. So why give a fuck if the game doesn't have features if people are going to buy it? And like, this has now become a common issue in gaming. Like, you look at so many games that come out and like they release after 5 years of 4K movie-esque trailers that oversell the concept, that oversell the graphics, that oversell the gameplay, and you realize you got sold a complete fucking shit slop that on launch is essentially an alpha of a game that you just paid for. And then guess what? Hey, fuck you, dude. Fuck you. Guess what? Hey, you know, the game you just bought? Yeah, that's actually not that good. You know, we don't have all the like features and cool shit you need to like make it fun and like super playable. So we're working tirelessly on it though. If you guys could just be patient. And then the developers also too now are like, they get mad on Twitter and shit if people are like, hey, what the fuck are these guys doing? I always find that funny. I love watching gaming, like fucking game developers and like gaming journalists and shit. I love watching them crash and burn so hard. It's so funny. Cause like they'll just tweet the objectively wrong thing. And then like everyone's like, hey, you're a fucking idiot. Like, shut up, please. And then they're like, whoa, looks like my opinion made everybody mad. Looks like all these really positive fans are really mad about this one. And it's like, well, dude, you know, you look like a tool, right? You look like a fucking idiot. So I don't know what they expect half the time, but they'll just say some stupid shit. You know, they'll just fucking be jealous about another game doing something better than theirs. And then they fucking crucify that game and then they get shredded. And then, well, didn't think that was going to make everybody mad. Yeah, you didn't fucking, that didn't cross your mind. You know, that you didn't piece that one together. You didn't fucking run that one back in your head and think, maybe that wasn't a good idea. That's the problem with so many people in the gaming industry, is just wrong ideas get perpetuated above all. I think that's really where gaming went wrong in the first place, because like gaming has always been commercialized. Let's just call it for what it is. I mean, you go back to the fucking 80s and 90s, right? When 99.9% of people's access to video games was them getting a gaming console like an NES bought for them for Christmas, or they took quarters down to the arcade and they spent $5 playing fucking arcade machines all day with their friends, right? And got a hot dog and a pop or whatever. So like, gaming has always been commercialized to a pretty big extent. I mean, let's just be very honest about that. And that's part of what caused a lot of the issues early on for the gaming industry. But at the same time too, like, we've gotten to a point where I feel like every game is trying to out-earn every game on the market. And so the way that game developers and publishing studios have decided to go is they skim the product and they fill it with shit to make you buy, right? And of course, like, it's genius in a business sense, but like, ultimately it disappoints people when they realize that for the last 5 years they've been looking at, once again, 4K trailers of a game that didn't fucking exist in the first place. And then, like, you want to get confused when these people are mad on Twitter and call you a bunch of scummy assholes. So, like, it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And, like, to be fair, there's a lot of harassment of game devs and people in the gaming industry that's just uncalled for, you know, that just doesn't really ever serve a purpose. But a lot of the valid criticism, a lot of the valid things suggested by people that are fans of communities of games that have just declined in quality, you know, they automatically get these actual important things swept up in this whole, oh, you're just being mean to the devs shit. And I think that that's a really fucking pathetic mentality. Like, if you want to work on a Call of Duty game, you know, that millions of people are going to play, that has a budget of $250 million, I think it should be kind of a prerequisite that you can take some fucking criticism on the game. And it really happens at a lot of studios and with a lot of different game franchises. It's not like I'm talking about just COD devs or anything here. It's just like a recurring issue that's been becoming, I think, more common in the gaming industry. And it really coincides with this massive rise of shit piles getting served to everybody that, you know, are failure excuses of games. I mean, how many fucking games are people gonna buy on release that are just completely shitty and broken and they're gonna defend? That's the problem too. Like, a lot of games that are just fucked up on launch, right, that like have real problems, you can't tell anyone in that community that the games have problems, because if you do, you know, you go on their fucking subreddit and you try to bring up some sort of, like, I guess, point about the game. Oh, I didn't like this. Oh, this is shitty, whatever. Half the time they just fucking, you know, kick you out of the community. They ban you or they fucking downvote you until you can't really be seen. Shit like that, right? So, like, half of these fucking game dev studios are just living in echo chambers where they can't get any valid criticism. They can't have anyone point anything out about these games. And the more that they monetize them and the more that they implement these shitty systems that nobody really likes or wants in games in the first place to, once again, please investors that want to see better and better quarterly results, the longer we're going to see this kind of shit happen in the gaming industry. It's not something that's going away. In fact, if I had to guess, it's going to be happening for a long time. I mean, all these studios continue to get record profits. It's not like this is something that's slowing down. I mean, people are continuing to buy this shit at record pace. Not even just in Call of Duty. I mean, look at a game like Grand Theft Auto Online. Don't get me wrong, I love Grand Theft Auto 5, I love Grand Theft Auto Online. But it's a complete product. I mean, like, it's clearly past its prime. You know, a lot of the more recent updates haven't been the biggest fan favorite updates. I think there's been good qualities to a good portion of them, but there's also been some pretty weak shit that came along with them. And, like, realistically, for a good portion of the game's history and existence, the prevalence of shark card OP players have just fucking made most online lobbies not worth playing in. So, like, it just, and of course, this is also the same GTA Online that's probably delayed GTA 6 7 years. I mean, Grand Theft Auto Online has continued to propel Grand Theft Auto 5 into the top-selling games very constantly ever since it came out. I mean, this game has been out for literally almost a decade in just a couple weeks, and it's one of the most popular games of all time. I think it's now the most profitable piece of entertainment ever created, regardless. And, when you got shit like that going on and people are continuing to buy these fucking shark cards and battle passes and all this shit for games that frankly don't deserve your extra money, the longer this shit goes on. And, I'm trying to do my part in stopping a lot of this shit. Same thing with like pre-orders. I don't pre-order games anymore. For the most part, the only game I do have pre-ordered is City Skylines 2. I'm not going to lie, I did pre-order that because I love City Skylines. And City Skylines 2 looks like a genuine massive improvement as a sequel. It has a lot of new features, a lot of new updated mechanics in the game. There's a lot more complex simulation going on. There's a lot more to balance. The buildable space is heavily expanded. Like there's so much going on, right? That like actually makes it worth the upgrade. And like that's, I feel like how games used to be. Like, man, I remember when I was a kid, and I know I'm gonna sound weird to older people and weird to younger people because younger people didn't really experience as much of this, if any, really. And then older people are like, yeah, dude, I was in the fucking arcades playing Pac-Man. So like, but I remember when I was a kid, right, like going to Blockbuster with my dad on the weekend and, renting games with him and trying new games. And games actually being cool as shit. Like, you could just put the game in the fucking machine, it runs, it's good, everything's fucking awesome, right? Or like getting a game on Christmas and it actually being finished, right? Or like going over to your friend's house and putting in a game on whatever console they have and it fucking runs and it works, the full game is right there. Like that doesn't happen anymore. You don't really have that kind of experience in gaming. Like now it's just fucking, oh, well, it releases at midnight, but hey, the actual update that makes it playable and fun, that'll be out in 2 months. This game's in beta, quote unquote. And I think if you want to look at the total failure of modern gaming, one game that I would absolutely fucking love to mention, and to really end and wrap this episode up on, is multiverses. Now, I'm not too much of a fighting game person, I should say. I don't really play a whole lot of them. I mean, I understand them. I understand why people like them. Not really my cup of tea most of the time. I do like a couple fighting games, but this is a game that has some of the biggest like media franchises in the world behind it. Like this is like Warner Brothers, I'm pretty sure. They got like fucking Looney Tunes and like Superman and LeBron James and all these other characters, right? They release all this shit. They like put the game out, it blows up, it becomes really popular and whatnot. And like Multiverses also had microtransactions, but then like eventually the game fucking died out because like everyone played it and realized like, hey, it's okay, I guess. And then like, it lost all of its players and it wasn't financially feasible to keep up anymore. And so then they just like pulled the servers offline and were like, oh, hey, yeah, that was just the beta or whatever. That was just fucking, that was a little oopsie daisy test. Okay. So like the fact that that can happen is just fucking pathetic. And so anyway, with that being said, thank you guys for listening to the first episode of Optimus Weekly. I'm going to be trying to release these every Sunday, but it's probably going to be some times where I don't get them out on Sunday. And there might also be some weeks where I don't have them at all. So I'm going to try to stick to doing them every single week, but like don't just be like guaranteeing yourself that they'll be out every week. I will probably announce if I'm not able to complete an episode by the week, but I thought this was pretty cool. I just like doing this, so hope you guys did enjoy. And with that being said, thank you for watching, and until my next episode, this is Optimus, just confused about modern games, man, and signing out.